Good morning. It's good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Come on with us to John chapter 4 today. I want to look at two verses. John chapter 4, verse 35. It's towards the end of the account of the woman at the well passage. He says, "Do not say," talking to his disciples, "there are still 4 months, and then comes the harvest. Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look at the fields, for they are already white for harvest." Another verse I wanted to look at is in Luke chapter 10. Where that same picture of the harvest is being used. When he sends out the 70 two by two, he says unto them in Luke 10 at verse 2, "The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." I wanted to talk about a few things concerning the harvest. One thing is that we absolutely need to be praying for it. We need to be praying for laborers. If we are seeking the kingdom first, if that is first and foremost in our thoughts, understanding thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it is in our prayers. And we need to be praying for those who are engaged in this work. We need to be praying for them. We need to be praying with them. We need to be praying for increase, understanding that the Father hears our prayers. We go to him in confidence. We go to him with boldness, praying all things in accordance with his will. And this is absolutely in accordance with his will. We pray to the Lord of harvest to send out laborers. But the second thing I wanted to mention, that John passage, he says, lift up your eyes. I would suggest we need to be observant. We need to be aware of God's work that needs to be done. Sometimes all we really think about is what's directly around us, namely our homes, the towns, the cities that we live in. We just think about, we think about those things that are close by, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we also need to be aware of workers who may not be nearby, of those who are in faraway places. We need to lift up our eyes and understand that we can play a part in those things. But I will also say sometimes we're tempted to go to the other end of the spectrum, and we just think about those faraway countries, perhaps third world countries or things like that, and sometimes we neglect those things that are close by. We neglect our homes. We neglect the town that we're living in. We neglect our neighbor. We'd rather talk to someone halfway around the world rather than our neighbor that's next door. We need to lift up our eyes and be observant. We need to support it. If we are praying for these things, then we need to put frankly, to put it bluntly, we need to put our money where our mouth is. And we need to show our support for these things. People were supporting Jesus and the disciples. If you don't believe that, just think about what it says about Judas, that Judas says that he was a thief and he would take money that was in the money box. Where did that money in the money box come from? People were supporting Jesus and the work that was already going on. The last thing I want to suggest is not only do we pray for it, not only are we observant, not only do we support it, we have to be willing to work ourselves. Yes, we pray and we give, but if it is time for us, the laborers are few, and if it's time for us to work, then we need to get busy and get to work. I hope you enjoyed this study today. God bless you. Be a blessing to others. We'll see you tomorrow morning.